Think about that. 27 points and 26 rebounds for Clint Capella. That is just wow. I mean, he's just wow. And then in overtime, Trae Young just took the game over. He hit a deep three to go up three. Then he drives, a little dump off to Capella, and that was it. That was all she wrote from there. And it just put a staple on the win. And it was a really good win. They won 17-9 in overtime. So it just showed that they had a hotter night than the Pistons did. So good win, 123-115. Let's go Suns Rockets. The Suns could have lost this game. And I said it already. I'm the Rockets, no John Wall, but I said this already. They come out. The Suns come out so strong to begin games, and you see the fight, you see the potential, you see the power, the depth that they have, but they let the Rockets stay in the game, and they let all their opponents stay in games where it's decided. It ends up being decided by a couple plays down the stretch. Victor in the first half wasn't looking too comfortable. He wasn't yet in their rhythm. He doesn't understand yet how everybody plays. He started to play a little bit better, but still not to the point yet where he can be effective on the Rockets. I think it'll come though. I do think it'll come. He's not a big ego guy like I need 100 shots, but I just don't think he got into their flow yet. The Rockets shot better from three. But they gave too many points over. They gave too many points on turnovers. Let's see what this differential is. They gave up 23 points on turnovers. They lost the game by 6. So you can't do that. The turnover battle was pretty even, but they gave up more points. And still, the biggest thing for me, just watching this game, watching every game so far that the Suns have played, they just start so strong, but finishing games just scares me. I thought they'd be really, really good finishing games. Having Booker who can hit big shots. Crowder's there too. I like Ayton. He's a good big man. And then Chris Paul is just, he's certified. He's hit shots before, and he knows how to make plays. But it's just for some reason it doesn't look like they're a good closeout team, and it just happens over and over. They let teams stay in. And, it gets dicey. And so far they pulled out a couple games, but you don't want to keep rolling that dice because you end up losing close games, and then you might end up in a bad position for playoff spot where you get bounced early. So the Suns, they're playing well, 8-5. They're still fourth in the West, but they need to get a hand on this because they're scaring me with the closeouts of games. But Ayton 26, 17, and 3. Big night for him, 109-103. The Suns take that game. Let's go to the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs. Now the Spurs are a good team, solid coach. Their system has been the same system since forever, and last night the Golden State they just came to play last night. I think they were still hyped about the big win over the Lakers, and they came out the gate firing. To start the game they were hot. They won the first quarter 36-24. I mean, they put 36 points on in the first quarter. They were moving the ball, hitting threes, layups, fast breaks. They were pushing tempo. There was no hesitation. It was just let it fly and let's run and play our game. And they were. Their defense was good. They turn the ball over a little bit too much, but that's a part of that's going to be a part of their game because they play so fast. They move the ball. They don't really do a lot of thinking. It's not grab, triple threat. Let's think. No, it's touch a second, move the ball, boom, 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 boom. So a couple times they threw the ball away. They let the Spurs capitalize on that because that's what they do. And but the Golden State bench, it just continues to impress me every game. They're so good, and you wouldn't if I told you the second string, and I said at the beginning of the season let's rank the second string. I don't think many people would have them the top 10 bench, but they are a top 10 bench, and I think they're a top 5 bench, because they're so good at managing the game, and not just managing the game. They actually increase leads when they're in it, or cut down deficits when they're down. And I've seen it happen already this season, and it's going to continue to happen because these guys, like I said before, played majority starter minutes last year because of all the injuries, because Steph was out, because Clay was out, because of all these situations. These guys had to play the major minutes. So now that they're second string, they have that experience, so they come in the game and they're ready to go. And they just play so good together, and they play well. They pass. There's not really a big drop off from first to second string, except for when Dre and Steph are in their zone. Of course, then there's gonna be a drop off, but there's not a drop off where it's like, oh, Steph can't come out and get a rest because we can't put these guys in, because you can put them in. Kevon Looney is good, led by Eric Paschall. He's just a beast. I mean, they're just so good all around, and they're gonna have to continue to be a team that plays team ball to go far, and I think they will, because that's always been their culture. But the Spurs shot awful last night, but I really think that Patty Mills usually has a big night from 3 against the Golden State Warriors. But I really think that it was attributed to the defense of the Golden State Warriors. They just were locking down. They were moving, playing fast. I mean, they were just a force last night, and they put the game away early, and they didn't let them stay around. I think they had hope. The game was over by the third quarter. We knew it, and it was a good game for the Warriors. 121-99. Steph had 26, 11, and 7. And then the final game. Kings Clippers. The Clippers came out playing a little sloppy. I've seen this a couple times with the Clippers. They start out sloppy, but then they get into their zone, and then there's no looking back, which was happening last night. They settled a little bit in the second quarter, and they started to hit shots. And the Kings were in it for the first 2 quarters. Back and forth. Kings play fast. They were hitting threes. And that's how they stay in most of their games, by playing that type of basketball. But the Kings had way too many turnovers and let the Clippers get easy buckets, start to feel themselves, get into a rhythm. And, it was too, you gave the Clippers too much of the rope, and you couldn't pull it back in. Third quarter, they came out striking, 34-19. They won that quarter, and it was pretty much a wrap from there. They were hot most of the game. The Clippers, when they have a big lead like that, when they're hitting, starting from the beginning of the game, when they're feeling themselves, is good. But it's when it's in the fourth and it's a close game that concerns me with the Clippers. So far, they've been able to finish off big games, but it does concern me in the fourth just a little bit, just because of their history, and sometimes I do see them get a little complacent. But one of the losses, but it was a comeback, kind of that sort of same thing, was against Golden State. But you can't, Golden State is, for me, I've told y'all this whole year so far. You leave Golden State around and they can win the game. They're just too good. Curry is just too good, and I've said this years and years and years. Curry is just the greatest shooter to ever touch the court, and he's just too good to let him stay around in games, and he leads by example, and his team feeds off of him. He's had the Lakers and the Clippers. He caught both of them sleeping on comebacks and won that. There's 10, I saw a stat that was 10 top comebacks this year so far, about 22 points and down 20, and that was them. The Golden State's the only team that's up there twice, so it just shows you their team identity and what they're about this year. But back to the Clippers, it was a good game for them. Winning streak at 5. It was a good game for them to get it done with in third and kind of rest their guys. I thought it would be a little bit closer. I thought the Kings would play a little bit better. Fox's speed is off the charts. I mean, the way that he stops and starts and gets to the hoop so easy. I mean, he's just wow. But it wasn't enough last night. De'Aaron had 25, 7 and 4. Kawhi had 32, 5 and 3. He was the player of the game. And it's a good win for the Clippers against a team that can get hot and he can give you a run for your money. So it was a good night of basketball. I was excited to watch, but let's go over to the board. Any significant changes on the rankings? Not really. Clippers take the helm. Golden State's at 5. Bucks, 76ers, Celtics. They're gonna continue to switch. The Nets are making their way up there. They'll be up there in 1 through 3, shortly. But nothing too crazy in the rankings.